This is being recorded in December, and so Christmas is right around the corner. But the reality is that all year long, there are plenty of opportunities for gift giving, and fly fishers can be some of the most difficult people to buy gifts for. We have a lot already, and we know exactly what we want. But books are usually a safe bet. Today I have a big stack I'm going to go through, and each one is an example of the kind of gift that you could get an angler. We'll talk about those categories and the titles today on Casting Across. Hi, Matthew at castingacross.com, where I explore the quarry and culture of fly fishing. I think a book is a good gift for a number of reasons. One, it might be exactly what somebody wants. Also, it's the kind of thing that you can give, and even if they don't get to it right away, it's going to be there waiting for them. But just because you are getting a gift for an angler doesn't mean that any old book off the shelf will necessarily work. It might, but it's good to kind of have an idea of exactly the kind of angler that you're looking for. So, as is often kind of the way I approach gift giving season and gift guides, I will give specific examples of books or other things that I would give somebody, but my preference is to kind of give a category of ways to think about giving gifts. So it's really more of a gifting guide than it is a gift guide. So we'll start with a simple fly fishing book to give somebody. Maybe something to tack on. You want to spend $100 per person. You've spent 75 on your uncle, and you have 25 more dollars to spend. Then what you can usually do is find a nice copy of a classic book. So it's something they may have a paperback of, but you can get a nicer copy. So this is the Centennial Edition of Ernest Hemingway's Big 2-Hour River. Particularly once you take the dust jacket off, it is a really nice little cloth-bound hardback. But again, 20, 25 bucks, you can find books like this, A River Runs Through It, Trout Madness, things like that. And it's just a nice book that even if they have a different edition, they'll be happy with both, or they'll be content with the upgrade. So that's the first one for the little tag-on gift. Secondly, somebody who has a lot of fly fishing books. The easiest thing you can do is buy a new book. So there's books that have come out since the beginning of this year, but this is Tim Camisa's Tying Euro Nymphs and Other Competition Favorites, which came out this year. So there's a good chance that even if somebody is a serial book buyer, then something from the last 6 or 12 months is a safe bet. So finding something that they probably haven't had yet because it's fresh off the presses. If you've been looking at their bookshelf and you know they don't own it, then getting something new, regardless of the subject matter, is a great way to get them something they've probably seen online, seen in magazines, seen even on social media. Next gift for the new angler. So you can go a lot of different directions with this. I mean, you can certainly buy a how-to fly fish kind of book. My preference for new anglers, and books I've given to a lot of new anglers, is like a guide, a local guide. So this is Lou Zambella's Fly Fisher's Guide to New England. It covers Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Massachusetts. Sorry, Connecticut. Sorry, Rhode Island. You didn't make the cut. But this book is just great because, yes, it tells you where to go fishing, which for so many new anglers, that is half the battle, right? But any good guidebook, any guidebook worth its salt, is going to give you details on kind of how to fish when you get there. So it's not going to give you a full treatise on fly fishing, but it's going to give you enough of the essentials that kind of get someone mind in the right direction, especially if they watch YouTube videos, if they've taken a class, if they've been out with you or with somebody else. So a guidebook is a great way to give something to a new angler because this might not, necessarily be up on their shelf. They might take this with them out in the field and really enjoy it that way. Now, for the person who's not a reader, which we could talk about that quite a lot, but I don't think anyone is not a reader. But if you're thinking, you know what, I'd like to give them a book, but they're not the kind of person that's going to sit down and read 300 plus pages, then something that is a coffee table book is a great option. So this is Jane Prosek's Trout. This is the kind of book that you can go through and just look at the beautiful illustrations. And guess what? There's words in it too. But this is the kind of book that if somebody is not a huge reader, but they'd be happy to have this on their coffee table, happy to have this other end table, happy to have this on their shelf. Just something with beautiful artwork, larger format is a great way to give somebody something that they will put up. And even if it just gets really dusty, they'll look at it and every once in a while maybe pull it down. It's a great option and a lot of fun and probably a great way to get somebody reading a little bit more. Two more categories. One is for the angler who has a big bookshelf. A buddy of mine got me this, Artflick's New Streamside Guide. This is the 1969 edition. So I have the updated version, but he came across this and he said, I bet Matt doesn't have it. And sure enough, didn't have it. So bought it, sent it my way, and you know what? You can get online. You can even get on the big bookstore with a that sells anything and everything, and you can find used copies of first editions, second editions, and they might be a little bit beat up, but honestly, this version, if I take off the dust jacket, it's in really, really good shape. And that's a great way where you can maybe even only spend 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks on an older edition of a book and give it to somebody where, like the first example, it may take the place of a copy they have or simply augment it on their bookshelf. But for the angler who has everything, you can go online or go to your local bookstore, used bookstore, and find an older or more rare edition of a book that they already have or maybe that they don't have at all. Lastly, if you want to splurge, if you want to make a splash, if you have a larger budget and you really want to impress the gift giver, because not for the sake of impressing them, but for showing them how much you care, then there's some expensive fly fishing books that are out there. So for example, this is Steve Voigt's Fly Fishing Treasures. There is actually a collector's edition that comes in over $100, big slipcase, even nicer cover than this. But I mean, this book I've talked about before on the YouTube channel. Big, beautiful photography, wonderful vignettes by a bunch of prominent names in angling and fly fishing collecting. So this is a big book. It's the kind of book that unless somebody is really into it, they're not going to seek it out. But if they have it, they will absolutely love it. And I mean, this is a way to really show somebody that you care and that you know about them if you get a big book like this. There's a handful of other ones out there. Even just today, I was looking online at some saltwater fly fishing books that were coming in at that $90 to $150 range because they are big, but they probably didn't anticipate selling a lot of them, so the price is a little bit higher. But for somebody who's into that, and that's a great way to really give them something they probably aren't going to buy themselves. So those are a couple of categories. Again, and in each and every one of those, there's countless books that you can find that will fit into those niches. You could certainly look at the back catalog of YouTube videos here on Casting Across to see some of those options. But if there's a book that you've given or received and it's really made an impact, let me know in the comments below. Then head over to castingacross.com for 3 posts a week on the people, places, and things that go into the pursuit of fish.